Hi, it's almost the new year, and so today we thought it would be really fun to go through some of our favorite projects that we finished over the past year and share them with you. We really both had a lot of fun making all of these things, and they were fun each in their own way. And we also think it would be really fun if you have any favorite projects, if you want to think back over your year, what you've made this year, and maybe send us a picture or two, and maybe they'll even get featured in our end of the year review that we're going to be posting up somewhere pretty soon. You want to go ahead?
I really enjoyed going through the process of making a list. I made a list and I searched back through pictures, and I really did enjoy going through that process and really thinking about what I made this year and how much joy each of these projects brought me.
Great. Yeah. So I'm going to start with the one on top of my pile. This hat we called the decision fatigue hat because we've all had to make way too many decisions about too many things this year.
That's for sure.
And we named it that because it's completely reversible, this hat. It was a really great movie Netflix watching hat because this side of it was just stockinette stitch, zero thought at all, and then the other side was just knit one purl one ribbing. So it was a great way for me to just zone out and think about other things and not focus too hard on the knitting, but it still just gave me something in my hands to keep me centered, and it was a comforting project, I guess is the right word for it.
That's a good word.
Yeah. And the yarn I used I really love too, the double Sunday. It's just nice and soft and squishy. Loved it.
Sunday,
sorry, yeah.
Sunday. There's that confusing double Sunday thing. This is a hat that I really enjoyed making. It's the Hansmere hat made out of ranch Hansmere, and again, very comforting knitting. Just knit one, purl one, ribbing for most of the hat, but then this unusual decreasing up here, and then here you did a 3-needle bind off rather than a regular closure of your top of your hat, which I really thought was a fun way to end it. And this is that very popular Carhartt shape.
Oh yeah.
You know, that everyone who's under a certain age wants to wear. Yeah.
That's funny. Next up on my list, this is a ranunculus pullover. I've made a couple of these before, but I really liked this one just because of the yarns that I chose for it. This was a strand of 100% silk called Kinu, and then it was this really cool paper yarn, a cotton paper from Ito yarns. Both yarns are from Ito. And just holding them together was such an interesting texture to work with. I liked the whole process of it. And then I liked it even more once I washed it, just because the fabric turned out so drapey and crisp and interesting. And I really enjoyed this. I wore this a lot this summer. It was a great summer sweater. I'm happy I made this.
I loved working with Ito this year, you know, getting some of those paper yarns and the silk yarns back in stock.
They're so different.
Yeah, they're so different, and you can combine all 4 of them in so many different ways that it's intriguing. I like the textures, and they're so different.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun. I made this on the beach, and that's what I see when I see this
what a great
project.
Memory.
I really did most of this knitting on the beach in Massachusetts, and that's why I love this first colorwork cowl using shelter and tones.
I bet it was fun too.
Yeah. Oh, so fun. Yeah.
Fun.
Then I made this hat as part of our Merry Making Hats in November, I think. And I used Juicy DK from Farmer's Daughter. It's crocheted. But what I really loved about this was I just think that it's such a cool texture, and I had never done this stitch before. I think it's 2 puff stitches in one. And I just think that the yarn and the pom-pom are matched so perfectly. I really love this hat. I think it's really fun.
Next sweater there too.
Yeah.
My next favorite one was a crochet project also. I designed this one. It's called the Louise hat. It's a free one on our website. But what I really love about it, I held a strand of Iciger Alpaca 2, which is an alpaca merino blend, along with the strand of the same color of Ito Sensei, mohair and silk. And I just love the way the two kind of mush together, but you can still see a little bit of the texture underneath. It was a simple crochet stitch, which was fun, and I don't know, it's one of my favorite stitches to do anyway. This was just a great, again, meditative project. Once you got it going, you didn't have to think about it at all. And the fabric is just so nice and cozy.
And then onto this novice cardigan, the chunky edition. Again, I held a strand of alpaca 3. This was alpaca 2. This is alpaca 3 Isager with a strand of the silk mohair sensei from Ito, and I chose a kind of a different color rather than the same color. I chose a little bit different color, and so that it has this marled effect. But what I really love about this sweater is that this yarn is bulky when you put this together, but it's so light that it's light to wear, and then the alpaca is so warm. So I really like that.
It's cozy. It looks cute on you too.
Oh, thanks.
This is Sheep Camp by...
This was a runaway success.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. I used Smart from Sandnes Garn for this. It's a superwash DK, and I wasn't expecting to like it very much for color work, but I really did. It worked up really well, and this is a machine washable wool, which made me nervous too, but I threw this in the washer and it came out great.
I love how, like, it looks so well.
Yeah, it blocked out perfectly. Like the Fair Isle color work, when I threw it in the washer, it came together great. And I thought the yoke, the fit of it was going to be a little strange on me, but it's a really well designed sweater and it fits really well. So I would recommend this one. If you've never tried color work before and you're looking for a sweater, this would be a good one to do. It was a lot of fun. It went really fast too, since it's cropped.
Yeah, and the sleeves are
short. Yeah,
bracelet length or whatever. So my next project that I really enjoyed, I enjoy wearing this project a lot. It's the Breezy V, and I used Isager linen for this, and you basically make 4 rectangles. You're holding 2 strands of yarn together to create a marled effect in different areas, and then you just mattress seam them down the front and down the sides, and there you go.
So easy.
It's the easiest project ever, and people are a little intimidated because they think this is hard, but literally you're just holding 2 strands of the same yarn together, and it creates different
fun
colors.
This is, I don't know how to say this. I think it's Noose, I don't know.
Noose.
Okay, Noose. This is with one of the nicest yarns I've ever used called Far from Woolfolk. It's soft and squishy on its own, but then it's combined with this interesting tuck stitch, and you can't even believe how squishy this is. I don't know if you can tell by my hand, but it's so squishy. And again, this was just an interesting shape and a really interesting construction. It was in the round up to here, and then divided for a little bit and worked flat, and then rejoined and just decreased down to the collar. So there was no seaming at all. When you're done, you're done.
We love sweaters like that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about shaping using this tuck stitch, so that was really fun. And I also learned to love a Kitchener stitch or a tubular bind off, which I wasn't really a fan of before, but I really liked the finish on this neck. So that was good experience too.
I've had a lot of experience with that tubular bind off this year because Petite Knit loves that one. And so I used it here on this novice cardigan, but I also used it on this field day cardigan. It's also, I used it just for my edges here. And here,
bottom, yeah, it looks nice,
and it looks really nice the way that you don't have that single line that you get with lots of cast offs.
And what yarn was this?
This was Woolfolk Straw, so it's a merino and linen blend.
Weird.
It's a weird blend. It's very dry feeling, but yet it's kind of cool. I wore it a lot this fall, and yet it has some warmth because of the merino. So it's like a good, I would say, transitional piece, but also I think in most other areas of the country, you could wear this year round, I would think.
Just not here in the frozen tundra.
Yeah, or maybe not in Texas in the summer. Maybe you don't need to wear it there, but this is another really well designed sweater. There are virtually no seams here. The way you put it together, the way you make these slope the shoulders is a unique, you can barely tell how you do that. I enjoyed making it. It wasn't made in a really traditional way.
Fun.
Yeah.
Keeps you entertained.
Yeah, it really, I love sweaters like that are kind of unusual, where you learn something new. I love that. Yeah. I enjoyed this process a lot. I'm glad that we did it, and I really encourage you to make a list of all your projects that you finished this year and send them to us.
And then start thinking about what you want to make for next year.
Ooh,
That's the most fun part of this whole thing. After you look back, you get to look forward.
Yeah, maybe have like one on one side of the paper and one on the other side.
See which one's longer.
Yeah.